Now, getting on with the show, we're going to bring in our first guest. He's going to blow your mind with facts about your mind. And he's studying a PhD in a lab with neural mechanisms and spatial orientation and navigation. Please help me welcome Ted Slone. Ted, how you doing, man?
Good, thanks.
Ted, how you been?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Just again, you're studying the neural mechanisms of spatial orientation and navigation. Am I right about that?
That is right.
Cool. Do you want to put that in like layman's terms?
Okay, I'll do my best. Yeah, so most people are able to find their way around their environment with very little difficulty, right? You just kind of think about where you need to go, and you go there.
Sure.
It seems pretty simple, right? But it's actually not that simple. It turns out it's a really remarkably complex ability. When you find your way around the environment, you're kind of relying on a lot of other mental abilities that you have, like memory and attention and decision making and stuff like that.
Right.
And so when you're finding your way around the environment, you're actually making use of a lot of different brain areas as well. And so we know this from not only research in rats solving mazes with wires directly implanted in their brains, but also more recently from research in humans, studies of people performing spatial tasks while their brain activity is being recorded non-invasively using things like MRI.
Yeah, you were telling me something about back there about like a first-person shooter kind of thing you had going on?
Yeah, so what my lab does, we study humans, not rats, but we basically get people to play a video game, testing their memory for places, kind of like a first-person shooter game, but without shooting. We get them to learn the layout of a virtual building and then test their memory for where things are by getting them to go from place to place. And we get them to do this while they're being scanned inside of an MRI scanner. And this records their brain activity. And so we can see what parts of the brain light up when they do different things. So this allows us to kind of understand how brain activity is related to their mental abilities and their behaviors.
So basically you're going to improve Apple Maps.
It's pretty hard to do. It's already pretty darn good.
Yeah, okay. Well, now let me just get this right. You have a bachelor's, a master's, and you're working or have your PhD?
I'm working on it, yeah.
Oh God, that's what. So tell me about your path. Like, how'd you get to where you are right now?
So I'm originally from Halifax.
Yeah.
I did my undergrad at Dalhousie in neuroscience.
Right.
I was really interested in the brain. I really kind of thought the brain was the most fascinating thing that I'd ever encountered, and I really wanted to know more about it. And so I had the opportunity to come to Calgary for graduate school in master's degree in neuroscience, which I took. It's good to get away from home and see what else was in the country. And after completing that, I decided that I kind of wanted to shift gears a little bit and study kind of psychology, but with still a focus on the brain. So I was really interested in how the brain allows for all of our mental abilities and behaviors to kind of to manifest. And so that's what I'm doing now.
So you had kind of the human behavior, but also what was physically happening in the brain with the signals and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know anything if that's obvious.
Nope, you had it just right.
Right, great, awesome. Do you have any tips for exams or anybody dealing with stress?
Yeah, actually, so the number one thing that I like to recommend to students when it comes to exam time is sleep. To make sure that they get a good night's sleep, both during studying times, but also right before an exam, especially right before an exam. So a good night's sleep has a lot of positive benefits, including things like energy level, mood, your ability to focus. We all kind of know about that stuff.
Great, totally.
But a lot of people don't sleep all that well around exam time anyway. They think that they'll be more benefited from staying up all night and cramming, or staying up late at least.
Right.
But one thing that we know is that actually sleep helps strengthen the memories of things that you learned the day before. So by depriving yourself of sleep, you're actually making it a lot harder to recall that information the next day. And if the next day is an exam, then you're not in as good a position as you could be if you'd just gotten the recommended 8 hours of sleep that you should have gotten.
Well, awesome. Thanks so much, Ted. That's great.
My pleasure.